Y'all, I forgot to get my microphone together. A key component. What kind of vocalist am I? Anyway, hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Lisa Marshall here, and keeping it old school. And tonight I'm taking you through how I build a unique vocal chain to make these custom songs really shine, and also what I use to emulate the sound of the early days of analog, like Stax Records, Muscle Shoals, Fame Studios. So this track is a custom song that was commissioned for this person's besties and good memories of hanging out in San Francisco, one of my favorite cities. So I really enjoyed writing this song. We're gonna do some final touches on the mix, and I'm gonna show you how the vocal magic is just gonna bring it home. It's just gonna make those vocals sound yummy, yummy, yummy in your tummy, tummy. So we're gonna start off with a mix chain that I would use or suggest if you are recording in a digital setting. In other words, if you are not using something like universal audio interface that's got all of the emulated analog plugins like tape and the console, etc. So we're gonna pretend like you're just going right into, a different interface. Maybe you're just going directly in your interface right into Logic. We're gonna talk about that first. Now, if you are using some analog emulated plugins to record, then we're gonna also talk about what that mix chain is gonna look like. And I'm gonna go ahead and show you the difference between the two, because this particular vocal, I did use Apollo Twin, and I did use some of the analog emulated plugins, like the 610B preamp, kind of giving us that console flavor. I used the Electronics LA2A compressor, a little bit of Pultec EQP 1A on that, and then I ran it a little bit through some Studer tape. So this first chain is just going to talk about if you don't have that kind of stuff. I'm using a combination of Logic, Waves, and Universal Audio, and I do have a PDF that I have put together that is very, very detailed on settings, and it also gives you options for Logic plugins or Wave plugin or Universal Audio on every single plugin in the chain. So let's get into this. Let me get some things in order here. Let me shrink my head. And I'm just going to show you this PDF real quick, because this is actually what I use. And I'm really proud of it. I really painstakingly put together a lot of information, hoping that it would help the absolute newbie to, I'm a lady over 50, and you can learn these things. And I encourage my women over 50. World needs our voice right now, ladies. It really needs our voice. It needs to hear from us. So I had y'all in mind when I was putting this together, so that you wouldn't have to really second guess yourself. That would give you a really great starting point. And I give you the why, the what, and the how, so that you can start to understand. Honestly, this is also for me, so I could really start to understand why I was doing and making the moves that I was making. So let me shrink up my head here. All right, so this is here. This is the overview, and you can see there's a table of contents over here that you can access easily. Easy breezy cover girl. Now, I've already got the chain sitting in here, and I've already got this mix kind of settled in. So we're going to take a listen to it, and then I'm just going to kind of explain to you and give you the overview of what I've done here. And you'll see at the very top here, we've got the local mix the lead vocal mix chain, standard for a clean digital recording and what that looks like. And then we've got the second one here where really we just need a little EQ, a little delay and a reverb, a de-esser if needed, if necessary. Sometimes my S's can sound pretty sharp. I don't know, just the way my jaws built maybe, the way my teeth hit each other. And the reason why that is because you will see here on the mix bus, I've got the tape, I've got the console, I'm using the UAD Pultec EQP 1A. I'm running through a Sheps 1073 to really drive my Fairchild 670 compressor. And then I've got just a little nudging EQ, really. I like to use the HEQ because you can single out the bands here and you can really kind of hone into what is really sticking, where, and you can also just look like, what is it that I need to do here to get this mix sounding more like a reference track. And a reference track is kind of like the ideal song that you would want your song to closely emulate. And I always start with the mix bus to kind of start shaping the tone of my song first. So let's get on there. Let's talk about this. And I've definitely got a little bit of noise going on here. That's all right. So it's definitely from the Sheps 1073. Let's give it a listen. The boys next door, they all adored. She was the queen and couldn't ignore. In the heart of the city, love's got that feel. Who got by their side, their bond so real. San Francisco nights, stars shining. right, so basically, I used a preset on Sheps that made it sound too bright to me. I wanted to warm this up a little bit. And so I'm not bummed out that the Sheps is causing a little bit of hiss in there, because that's kind of naturally what happens with analog tape. So I'm not bummed about that at all. Hey, Steph, what's happening? Happy birthday, Steph. Y'all say happy birthday to Steph. Right on. All right. Okay, let's get into this chain. All right. So we've started off here, the lead vocal. Let me make sure you can see that. All right, this is my lead vocal bus here. So we've started here in tape. We just did a little light tape saturation using Waves J37 tape. I really love this tape plugin a lot. We're doing the 8/8 formula because it's the most vintage and warm and saturated. And we're using 15 speed here because, again, just gives us a little more warmer sound. Bias at about +3. And a little saturation down here. You can just mess around with this, just kind of play it by ear. So let's... The boys next door, they all adored. She was the queen, and couldn't ignore. In the heart of the city, love's got that feel. Ruled up by their side, their bonds so real. San Francisco nights, stars shining brightly. They built their world, made everything alright, alright. Now, sometimes I like to just try out different presets right away. I don't know why I keep doing that for the blonde, the guitar bus. So you can see I'm just trying the MHB vocal here, but it's the exact settings that I wanted to use, and I'm just kind of adjusting the meter, the input meter here, so I can hit this meter a little harder. The boys next door, they all adored. She was the queen, and couldn't ignore. In the heart of the city. Next, we're putting on the NLS bus console. I'm using Nevo to emulate the 1073. We're driving it somewhere between 4 and 6 just to run it through that color, that console color. Now, mind you, I recorded using analog. Jenny, what's happening? Higher Soul Channel, hello. Yes, Steph, as a matter of fact, tomorrow night I'm going to be doing, I'm going to do an actual set. I'm going to play some songs, and then we'll get to it. All right, next up, we're doing a little subtractive EQ here. So I have just done, I fidget a little, I will admit, but I've done here a high pass filter up to 90. You probably don't need to go up to 90. I'm going to do like up to 80. And I've done a little high pass filter here up past the 20K. We really can't hear that anyway, but in my mind, it makes it sound a little bit warmer. So that's why I did that. And then we've got, next up, we're using the UA, or the Teletronics, Universal Audio Teletronics LA2A. This is like the mama bear of compressors. This was used throughout the 60s and 80s on, 60s and 70s, on just about everything. But definitely in the early 60s, this was the go-to compressor. Although I think Motown used the Fairchild 670 a lot, and that is also one of my favorites. I like it for vocals. It kind of makes the tone a little bit buttery. So I like it. The boys next door, they all adored. She was the queen, they couldn't ignore. In the heart of the city, love's got that feet. I had the compression a little hot. The boys next door, they all adore. Now, I'm using the vintage tube, Logic's vintage tube EQ, which is a close representation of the EQ P1A, the Pultec. I'm going to go back to default settings, just so you can hear. I can hear that it just gives it a little color, just with nothing on it. Using the tube EQ preset was not a good idea. That's all I got to say about that. So let me show you with it on and then with it off. And hopefully you can hear that. We're going to solo that bus. The boys next door, they all adored. She was the queen, they couldn't ignore. It gives it just a little bit of maybe a little roundness, gives it that just a little zhuzh, even with no settings on it. Let's listen to it in the mix. The boys next door, they all adored. She was the queen, they couldn't ignore. In the heart of the city, love's got that feel. The boys next door, they all adored. She was the queen, they couldn't ignore. In the heart of the city. Yeah, anytime you change something up, like for instance, I went with those presets and then I decided to turn them off, you always got to go and check the mix bus. If you're hearing distortion in your mix, chances are it's the tape on your mix bus. That's what I'm learning. The boys next door, they all adored. She was the queen, they couldn't ignore. In the heart of the city, love's got that feel. Ruga by their side, their bonds so real. San Francisco nights, stars shining bright. They built their world, made everything alright, alright. The boys next door, they all adored. She was the queen, they couldn't ignore. In the heart of the city, love's got that feel. So you can hear I've got some S's coming through on my vocal, like I told you. I have sharp S's when I sing. I just boys next door, they all adore. And here's the cool thing. This is why I like this HEQ. So this is where I would try to handle the S's first on the subtractive EQ, which is the first EQ you're putting in your chain before you hit compression. And so this is what you can do. This is what's so cool about it. The boys next door, they all adored. She was the queen. There it is, probably right about there. And for some reason, I've got it boosted because I'm a ding dong. So this is what we're gonna do. And also, what I like about it is that you can choose from these band cuts, right? Which is how wide or narrow the band is cutting. And so I want this to be a little more surgical, so I'm going to use the digital. You see how it got a little more accented, where on the US vintage, it's like, it looks like it's just bringing like a lot of very wide band down. I don't particularly want that for this particular application.
It they couldn't ignore in the heart of the city. Love's got that feet.
Now I took off the low pass filter because I wanted a little top end on those vocals. So I had to give a little bit back on the top end around 10K. And I don't know if I need to
The boys next door, they all adored. She was the queen, they couldn't ignore. In the heart of the city, love's got that feeling. With Ruger by their side, their bonds so real. San Francisco nights, stars shining bright. They built their world, made everything alright.
Yeah, I don't need a lot of compression. I don't want to take a lot of the energy out of the vocal. So that's why I just keep dialing back the compression a little bit, and also because I'm in a kind of a little quieter part of the song. But I'm liking how that's going.
The boys next door, they all adored. She was the queen, they couldn't ignore. In the heart of the city, love's got that feeling. With Ruger by their side.
All right, so that is one of the vocal chains, which I'll probably honestly keep. Now, because I used already some analog styling plugins to record this, it's already baked into that recorded track. So the only thing I would do is take off this tape and this console. But also because I kind of feel like, because it's acoustic track, I got it dialed in pretty good here, and I could probably back off the tape a little bit.
The boys next door, they all adored. She was the queen, they couldn't ignore. In the heart of the city.
And I like that because already I can hear there's a little more space around the vocal just by dialing back the meter on the tape.
The boys next door, they all adored. She was the queen, they couldn't ignore. In the heart of the city.
Now, another trick I like, because I need visuals, I need to see at the same time. So another trick I like to do is I like to put another HEQ. I don't know. Let's see what I was doing. Anyway, I like to put another HEQ graph EQ after my tonal EQ plugin. That way I can look to see what's happening in the bars, right? And then I can start to adjust it using the vintage tube EQ. And then I'll go back and flatten this. But let's take a listen. I don't know, this might be doing something pretty cool.
The boys next door, they all adored. She was the queen, they couldn't ignore. In the heart of the city, love's got that feeling. With Ruger by their side, their bonds so real. San Francisco nights, stars
I'm not going to touch anything. I like where it's hitting. I've noticed just from studying a lot of the reference tracks, the old vintage soul tracks, that they like to hit. They like to hit right in between the 1K and 2K, or 1 and 1.5. And that's about where it's at. So I like the warmth. I might try to put just a little bit top end on the mix bus.
Boys next door, they all adored. She was the queen and couldn't ignore.
Or we're gonna try doing just a little bit at 100 and putting a little top here. See how it sounds.
The boys next door, they all adored. She.
Now, what's so great about this vintage tube EQ that emulates the EQ P1A is that you can boost the lows and also attenuate the lows at the same time, which means you can knock up some lows and you can pull back a little bit of the kind of control it better, if you will. It just makes the low end so nice and smooth.
The boys next door, they all adored. She was the queen and could. The boys next door, they all adored. She was the queen and couldn't ignore. In the heart of the city, love's got that feeling. Ruger by their side, their bonds so.
I like the way it's sitting in the mix. I like it. I like it. Let's go. Let's do these backing vocals real quick and get them nudged up a little better too. And also, we gotta just get to a chorus.
Love's got that feeling. Ruger by their side, their bonds so real. San Francisco nights, stars shining bright.
Again, I'm bringing the tape meter down because the tape is also giving me some compression, and I don't want to flatten these vocals too much.
Love's got that feeling. Ruger by their side, their bonds so real. San Francisco nights, stars shining bright. They built their world, made everything alright, alright.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and roll this off to you. happy with that. So really all I did was I just took off this the preset of another tube EQ. I didn't need that. I'm already using a tube microphone. I just overdid it. I just went a little crazy on the tube stuff. And I just rolled back a little bit of the tape so I'm not compressing so much. And also I rolled back the compressors so it could bounce a little bit more, be a little more lively. Let's give it a whole, let's get a listen to the whole thing. So you can tell I did a little work with some panning. Like on the choruses, I pan the acoustic guitars on either side just to fill out the stereo field a little bit more. I might do a little more stereo spread on the guitars, but I might have enough with just the panning. Let's see what happens.
Where the city breathes, across from Cat Hill, they found their peace. 2 stories high, in a flat so sweet.
Alrighty, I want more acoustic guitar.
Where the city breathes, across from Cat Hill, they found their peace. 2 stories high, in a flat so sweet. Love all around, in the world at their feet. The boys next door, they the city breathes, across from Cat Hill, they found their peace. 2 stories high, in a flat so sweet. Love all around, in the world at their feet. The boys next door, they all adored. She was the queen they couldn't ignore. In the heart of the city, love's got that feel. With Ruger by their side, their bond so real. San Francisco nights, stars shining bright. They built their world, made everything alright. Through the fog, through the bass we head.
All right, we're going to take this down just a little bit too.
They had a love beyond compare. The city whispers and the fog rolls through, but nothing compares.
Might do a little trick here too. Where are we? This is what I want.
bass we had, they had a love beyond compare. The city whispered through the fog, through the bass we had, they had a love beyond compare. The city whispered.
Let's check something out real quick here.
City breeze across from Cat Hill, they found their peace. 2 stories high in a flat so sweet. Love all around in the world at their feet. Through the bass we had, through the by their side, their bonds so real. Through the fall,
Interesting.
through the bass we had, they had a love.
Must have been not as on top of the microphone.
The city whispered where the city breathes across from Cat Hill, they found their peace. 2 stories high in a flat so sweet. Love all around in the world at their feet. The boys next door, they only him with Ruger by their side. Their bonds so real. San Francisco nights.
So really, I'm just doing a little bit of more tonal sculpting as I'm listening to the song. I'm also using automation and volume control to really make the vocals sit where they need to sit. Because I have a feeling I was messing around with different compressors when I was recording. This is the fun of it. Steph, thanks. I appreciate that so much. So like I said, if you're just joining the channel, I have been doing these deep dives on what was used and what the mix chains were used for, like Stax Records and Muscle Shoals, Motown-ish kind of stuff, but mostly Stax Records. I'm obsessed with Stax Records. I just love the way they mixed, and of course I love the music that came out of there, you know. Otis Redding and the Staple Singers and Carla Thomas and Lynn Lindell and Rufus Thomas, just so many people. And so I've been going down these long-ass rabbit holes, really learning about their mix chains and why and their settings and just digging as deep as I can. And so I put together these PDFs to help people who want to achieve that sound. And if you missed earlier, what we were talking about is that when you are using and recording, like for instance, my microphone is a tube microphone. And when you're recording with that, and I was using analog emulated plugins, Universal Audio, which is just fantastic for that. I don't really need to have the tape in the bus, in the console, in the vocal bus, because I'm already basically mixing by running it back through tape, a console, EQ, etc., on the mix bus. But I've already put it on here, and it's not bothering me. I'm just really lowering the input into the tape so it doesn't squash too much, and also through the console so it doesn't become overly saturated. That's what I'm doing.
Stars shining bright, they built their world, made everything alright, alright. Pitching pennies, trying to get by. City views in the pale moonlight. Record spinning, got that vinyl heat. Curtain swaying to a soulful beat, yeah. Alright, in the heart of the city, love's got their feet.
I want that vocal to sit down a little bit more in there.
Love's got that feeling with rude girl by their side. Their bonds so real. San Francisco nights, stars shining bright. They on Yukon Street, where the city breathes. Across from Cat Hill, they found their peace. 2 stories high in a flat so sweet. Not for a house in the world at their feet. The boys next door, they all adored. She was the queen they couldn't ignore. In the heart of the city, love's got that feeling with Ruger by their side. Their bonds so real. San Francisco nights, stars shining bright. They built their world, made everything alright. Across from Cat Hill, they found their peace. 2 stories high in a flat so sweet. Not for a house in the world at their feet. The boys next door, they all adored. She was the queen they couldn't ignore. In the heart of the city, love's got that feeling with rules. Through the base we had, they had a love beyond compare. The city whispers and the fog rolls through, but nothing compares to the love that knew. Covering a world where the movies roll. In the Castro, where they found
We need to fix a little bit of something here.
to the love that knew. Covering a world where the movies roll. In the Castro, where they found their soul. In the heart of the city, love's got that feeling with Ruger by their side. Their bonds so real. San Francisco nights, stars shining bright. They built their world, made everything alright, alright. Pinching pennies, trying to get by. City views in the pale moonlight. Record spinning, got that vinyl heat. Curtains swaying to a soulful beat. Yeah, alright. In the heart of the city, love's got that feel. With Ruger by their side, in the bonds so real. San Francisco nights, stars shining bright. They built their world, made everything.
Aha, and this guy in my left ear, this girl in my left ear over here needs to calm down. All right. Okay, that's bus. So basically, because I backed off the feed through the tape compressor, I'm having to deal with auto. adjust the volumes here.
Alright, alright. Pinching pennies, trying to get by. City views in the pale moonlight. Record spinning, got that final heat. Curtains swaying to a soulful beat. Yeah, alright. In the heart of the city, love's got that feel. With Ruger by their side, in the wild so real. San Francisco nights, stars shining bright. They built their world, made everything alright, alright. Na 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 na. Heart of the city, love's got that feel. With Ruger by their side, in the wild so real. San Francisco nights, stars shining bright.
Now it's starting to sound like a real song.
Built their world, made everything alright, alright. Na 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 na. Alright, alright. Na 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 na. That's better. Oh. Na 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 na. Love can't compare. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. That's better. Oh. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. That's better. Oh. Na 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 na. That's better. Oh. Na 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 na.
Almost got it. And then I think this is it, y'all. This is it. And we'll just do a recap on the lead vocal chain one more time. All right, I am very happy with this now. It's not, I had it a little, the vocals a little mushed, and I always try presets just because they can help with mixing and save your ears a little bit. But here's a trick too. As I'm starting to get things kind of settled in, as I'm going back, like treating the guitars, etc., and getting those tones tuned in, I'll go ahead and start adding stuff. I'll add this Waves ARTG Vintage Mastering Glue to the master, and then I'll start mixing into the master as well. So that's why you just have to go back and noodle little things and do a little automation. But so basically what we talked about is when you're thinking about the chain that happens when you're in a studio, like an analog studio, or if I'm trying to put myself back in the day of the Stax Records studio, which, by the way, I don't know if anybody here, has anybody here been to the Stax Records Museum? It's the studio, and it's so freaking cool. Like, just, first of all, they've got, you're kind of walking down these little corridors, and they've got in glass cases all these outfits that, like, Tina Turner actually recorded there in her early days. Tina Turner and Isaac Hayes and Otis Redding and Carla Thomas and Mavis Staples and the Staple Singers. It's just so cool. And then you walk in and you can see the setup of the studio. Just amazing. My favorite part was Isaac Hayes' baby blue Cadillac with thick white furry carpet all on the front, on the floorboards, all on the back with white leather interior and a turntable. It was like a bench seat in this Cadillac, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And then it had the turntable, an actual turntable, on the floor in between like the driver's and passenger's side. Knocked me out. Like, that's what I want. I want a baby blue Cadillac with white interior, and I want a turntable that plays inside of my car that's actually connected to speakers. I mean, is that not the freaking coolest thing you've ever heard of? Coolest thing I've ever heard of. So basically what would happen is, you know, you'd have your microphone set up, like, let's say one of the microphones that I am going to be getting as soon as I can, because it's, not only is that the coolest name, Telefunken, but it is the most delicious microphone. Telefunken 251, right? Big, nice diaphragm, tube mic. You're running out, you're going into your console. You got maybe a little bit of EQ, but you got that nice warmth from the board itself, from all the processors and tubes in there and stuff happening. And then you get a little bit of compression just to keep things, you know, from peeking out too much, and just a tiny bit of EQ just to make up for the room, but really you're just relying on the room. And obviously when you're in your own, you know, if you're a bedroom producer like I am, you kind of have to emulate that. And then it goes into this big old reel-to-reel 2-inch tape, probably, maybe, not sure. Yeah, most definitely. And then for playback, they run that tape back out, right? Then they come back through their final compression and EQ, and that's your tonal EQ and such, and comes back through the board into the speakers, and they're adjusting and making a little adjustments and doing their things with the sliders, right? Back in the day when they had to work the sliders, you know, while it's pressing to tape. Can you imagine? Like, pressing to tape, the final tape, to go to vinyl. I mean, no pressure. But just the level of professionalism. And you got, you know, Booker T and the MGs, who are the house band, who just have played together for so long, and they've been out on the road together, and everybody just, they have, you know, specific microphones that they're using for Otis Redding and Isaac Hayes and Mavis Staples. As a matter of fact, I saw a video of Mavis in the studio now. She's 80-something years old. Woman is amazing. Like, if you have not seen Mavis Staples in concert, go do it. Like, find the money and go do it. I'm telling you, it is life-changing. I'm not even kidding. She's a freaking angel on this planet. That's all I know. She's a freaking angel. So that woman just, love just, like, emanates out of her. Like, she's an angel, I'm telling you. She's an angel. So, anyway, but you know, she's 80-something years old, and she's got that voice, right? I can't even do it. It's just this beautiful, gritty, low voice. And she's probably a good foot away from the microphone. I'm so used to being, you know, on as a live performer on top of my microphone. Because back in the day when I was playing in my 20s, this is where I learned everything, right? I'd never been in a band before. And then I get in my first original song band, and I start co-writing with the guitar player, Becky Coltman. And we're playing these clubs all over LA. And I'm telling you, man, these sound people could care less if you can hear yourself or not. So you just learn to just, with everything you had, belt and just eat the microphone. So when you go into a studio and you've got these large diaphragm microphones that you really have to be a good 6 inches to almost a foot away. And then when you're hitting these big notes, you got to really back off, because these things are picking up bug farts. You know what I'm saying? It's been quite the experience, and which leads me to why I went and redid the vocals on Swamp Song. So we'll talk about that this week too. But this has been really just about the lead vocal bus and how it works and how you can get that delicious Stax sound. And there's two things I'm looking at here that we didn't talk about, so let's talk about it real quick. And that is These are your aux sends, right? This is what you use for any effects on whatever channel you're working on. In this case, the lead vocal bus. So essentially what I've done, because I create songs a lot this way when I'm working from scratch, which is I have to get the ideas down and then kind of work it out, up to the bridge. Like if I'm really excited about the verse and chorus and I've got that down, or the verse, pre-chorus, and the chorus and I've got that down, I'll go ahead and record that. And then sometimes I just have to go multi-track. I have to use various tracks, let's make this the chorus track, let's make this the verse track, whatever. So that's why I've got 3 lead vocal tracks here. You can see I've grouped them into one singular track. So not only can I control the automation on each individual track, but if I leave this lead vocal bus alone, which I didn't do, which I should have, then I can use it to turn down all of them, all at once. And that's why I'm using I'm leaving the tape on that. I like how it's distorting. I just noticed that I had tape on that. And that's why I use the mix bus for the tape, the bus, kind of emulating what would happen at Stax. Definitely on the backing vocals. They would, probably bounce it down to a track so it would sound cohesive. Or they would have all the backing vocals standing around one microphone. So that's also the idea, but there's only one of me. So I had to do multiple tracks and pretend, and then run it to one backing vocal track bus to make it sound like we were all around the same microphone, basically. Anyway, so these aux sends are what you're going to use to get your reverb. So I like Abbey Road plates. And sometimes I just, like I said, I grab a preset. I grab the vocal plate, an Abbey Road vocal plate, because I figure whoever designed these knew that, right? So I'm not going to mess around with it too much. I do put a compressor after the reverb to kind of control the tail and elongate it or make it, not so washy. So that's why I've got a compressor after. And the vintage Opto is a great emulation of the LA2A, Teletronics LA2A. There's some more knobs, of course, that you have to adjust than the LA2A, but that's all in my PDF. It'll tell you everything. And then I use another bus, aux bus, to send to delay. And I use a tape J37 because they have such a lovely tape delay. And also, it's not really adding too much, very minimal saturation and compression. Because as you can see, here, let me show you here, you'll see that it's really not moving the needle too much. Not at all. But there it is, the delay. Yeah, probably didn't need that much on the lead vocal. That was a lot. And it's so easy just to hear. You can single out the delay. I've got a cool delay trick I'm going to talk about on one of the days this week on one of my original songs. So you're also going to notice that on the lead vocal, I used a mono channel for reverb and delay. And that's because I wanted it to be front and center. I wanted to keep it centered. And then on the backing vocals, I used stereo. Well, I'm actually using, I went ahead and used the reverb, the same reverb for the lead vocal and the backing vocal on this particular instance. But, oh, and that's, I felt like that was okay because this is a minimal tracked song, and it really is kind of, I want the vocals to sound a little up front, and I want the guitars to be on the stereo field, right? And then I used a stereo track for delay.
The city loves got that feel, ruled out by their side, their bonds so real. San Francisco nights, stars shining bright. They built their world made out of the city.
And I'm not even sure why I have guitar delay on the lead vocal, except that I must have thought it was the guitar. Let's fix that. I want to go back to a... I have no idea why. I meant to, I'm sure, put vocal delay on there. Let's see what this is like.
San Francisco nights, stars shining bright. They built their world made out of the city. Love got that feel, ruled by their side. Their bonds so real. San Francisco nights, stars shining bright. They built their world made out of the city. Love's got that feel, ruled out by their side. Their bonds so real. San Francisco nights, stars shining bright. They built their world made out of the...
Yeah, that's lovely. I love that Abbey Road plates. I think that's great. You hear this?
The city love's got that feel, ruled by their side. Their bonds so real. San Francisco nights, stars shining bright. They built their world made out of the city. Love's got that feel, ruled by their side. Their bonds so real. San Francisco nights, stars shining bright. They...
Yeah, I'm very, very pleased with that. So that's my tutorial on the lead vocal bus. So thanks for so much for, let me make my face bigger to get in your face so I can say hello and good night. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun over here. So if you guys are, if you are, if you're interested in checking out a free PDF lead vocal overview of this mix chain, just comment vocal bus in the bottom, VOX bus, or you can just grab the Linktree link in my description and head over to my website. It's called the Analog Lab, I think, is the page, and you can get it for free. There's some free songs over there if you want to check it out, and I got some new merch up there too, kind of newish merch. And tips are always welcome. Any way you want to support my channel is much, much appreciated. Thank you so much. So let's close this out. We will be back to talk about mastering. I went down another rabbit hole. It seems like I've been just down and down rabbit holes because this stuff just really interests me, and I'm such a dork about it. I love it. And found a very, very simple method to master your tracks. So, if this is resonating with you, I would love it if you would hit the button, subscribe to my channel. Come hang out with me this week, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. I've got a room for a couple more custom songs. You can see this was supposed to be an acoustic custom song, and I gotta put the stuff on it. I gotta make it the thing. So I hope you will go check out some of the other custom songs on my website. There's a full production song. There's a medley you can go check out. Just check out a couple, 20 seconds of each song. And this song will be going up on my website soon. But get those orders in this week because, like I said, I've got a couple more spots left open. But then I'm heading out to Seattle in the middle of August to do a really cool 60s tribute show where I get to sing songs from two of my absolute favorite female vocalists, which is Aretha Franklin and Janis Joplin. I will be also doing those this week in some of my live performances and then going into some of the mixed stuff and behind the scenes for my EP, which you can also consider pre-sell my EP as well. So I will see you again, I hope, this week. Don't forget, set your time, your alarm, put it on your calendar. Or you can sign up on my mailing list, again, through my Linktree link, and I will let you know, and I will keep you abreast of what's happening. And I will be taking lots of video and sharing stuff about my time in Seattle, so if you want to follow that as well, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok, Facebook, or you can just also hit me up on an email, and I will be sending updates there as well. And probably posting on my website as well. So, as a matter of fact, that's where I'm going to post. I'm going to try to post a lot of stuff on my website. I just made that call. I just made that decision. Okay. I'm off to see the wizard. You guys have a lovely night. Take care of yourselves, and